Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and I am about to leave for Disney World, which means that I have to pack for Disney World. Yeah. But while I'm packing, I figured I could chat about a few things with y'all because I'm thinking of naming this video To All the Ideas I Haven't, which now saying it out loud maybe doesn't make as much sense as I would like it to, but I basically mean for it to be a little ode, some discussion around the ideas I've had that just haven't actually amounted to anything. To all the ideas I haven't? I don't know. And now here's the thing, this was actually inspired because I found a voice message that I left myself about a story idea, and I apparently recorded it on what, March 27th, 2019? No idea where I was going, no idea what prompted this, but I have a minute of a voice message of a story idea.
Something happens on their 16th birthday or their 17th birthday where if they don't achieve greatness by, you know, this certain time period, they vanish. So they're in class, this girl has seen a machine, and the machine
it's a machine now,
sci-fi. And the reason they do this is because population from the original Earth planet,
population problems.
So the book will end saying that she made it to her 16th or 17th birthday, like waking up and being like, I'm alive kind of thing. So she has a party the last time, and the last day, yeah.
So that's a thing I did that I forgot about. It's supposed to rain almost the entire time we're there. Literally the thing I need to make sure of is that I have some form of rain jacket. But really, this isn't the only place I do this with, right? It's the only voice memo I've had for myself, but I do this all the time, and not just with like story ideas, but video ideas too. I think I saw Books and Lala make a video like this before, so I wanted to chat about that. And I also saw that Ben Sanders recently made a video. It was a tag video where it was talking about like your channel, the history of your channel, and I really liked some of his questions, so I figure I'm going to try to incorporate those into this thing as well, whatever this is. So let's get to chatting and packing. I feel like the first thing that I should really note is that I have a full spreadsheet for all of my video ideas, and I have them vaguely laid out so that theoretically certain videos will happen certain days, and then I just have this list of ideas that I basically, here's the thing, right? I cannot be trusted to write down in a planner what my video ideas are and actually stick to the planner. I need the power of copy and paste to fully just move things around at random when things don't pan out how I think they will, which is most of the time. But it does mean that I have a bunch of ideas in the farthest section of this spreadsheet to just have never, potentially will never become anything. Like there's a multitude of skits on the list. I used to love making skits, and I still get ideas for the skits all the time, which I can't explain because you figure if I didn't like doing them anymore, which is what it feels like, no part of me wants to extrapolate on the 5 like different scene ideas I have. You think I'd just stop having ideas for them completely, but no. Okay, we're gonna meander over to the story ideas and then probably hip hop our way back to the video ideas thing, or maybe just like kind of go between the whole time. But I've had an Android phone for years, which means that I have the Samsung Notes app. And so basically with every new phone I get, I still get to keep all of my notes, which just, there's so many, there's hundreds. And some are for like these recent story ideas, like this gender bent fantastical retelling of a huge classic. But literally it goes all the way back to October 1st, 2014. I was working corporate then. It was a very different time in my life. And the note is actually the ending to this story that I had not yet written, but I'd been like contemplating over, and then an actual scene with dialogue and everything. And I actually ended up writing this story. I talked about it way back when, like it was one of the first books I talked about on my channel. It was this new adult superhero story, basically. In fact, the ending stayed similar, though it did change. I got rid of the part that I even noted at the time was super cheesy. And it's just like, my mind is blown, because here is this object that just holds hundreds of ideas, and there's such a strange mixture of some where it's like I have no idea what they're talking about. You know, basically ones that just never manifested into anything. I have several titles like The Wind Whisperers and The Sin Seer, that there's no actual story there. I just wrote down that as a potential title for something. Who knows? I didn't give myself any more context clues than that. Or I had this idea very short, but where I wanted to explore the concept of the Good Samaritan, and I have society where you're judged based on the intent of your actions rather than just the actions themselves. Cool. Not a story, but like, I even have some that are just the starts to stories, or starts to something, like this note from May 25th, 2016. It was morning and foggy and all around pretty shit. I know that that was supposed to be the start to a story because that's not how I note anything in my like journaling life. So what the heck? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Truly the funniest thing to me is that it's like once every 20 notes or so, there's something I wrote down that I've actually used in a story now. It may not be exactly the thing that I thought it was going to be at the time, but I know that I've used it. I know that that was the first idea I had for that thing. And I know I made a video semi-recently, I don't know quite how recently because of course I might have had the idea for it way back when and only just kind of gotten to it, but it's all relative. And the video was about filling out my notebooks. I now have 3 fully complete notebooks and it reads kind of similarly to my phone and the voice note, where it's just stuffed with ideas. Besides just the actual story and video ideas and all this stuff, it's a great record for in the moment, how I was feeling, how I was doing, what I was thinking, and it's really funny to be able to see how my stories have changed and evolved over time, but also kind of how I've changed and evolved over time. Which another video idea, which I had way before I ever actually got to the filming part of it, was basically like, how long does it take to write a book with receipts? I brought the receipts. And I know because I had the idea for this way back, at least in April 2018, like that on my spreadsheet. I kind of sometimes put stuff into like Veda or Vlogmas or whatever else I think I might be able to do at the time, and I put it there and that was my plan. I know I didn't film it then. Because it happened way later. I'll flash on the screen when it actually became something, but like the notebook, it's become one of my favorite videos. This is actually sort of in conjunction with a question on Ben's tag, but I think I like it so much because it's so personal. Like I had to research and go through all of my own stuff in order to create the videos, and so something kind of as I was going through them felt like growth, I think. I was kind of left with this sense of pride in past me for how far I've come now, just seeing the inkling of these ideas, and now I can sit back and see like the full manifestation of them kind of thing. So those videos are much more rewarding for me to like watch over than say random vlogs. Though I do love random vlogs, especially because those random vlogs in some ways act as like notes on my phone, because I'll get to go back and see where I had the aha moment that like forever changed my story for the better, and there's something very cool about that too. My plan is to basically just take all of my Disney stuff out. I have my Hollywood Tower Hotel and my Pascal hat. I need to see the detail of these because I am just such a fan of a good hat. You know, this was dumb. Okay. And now another question on Ben's tag was like, talk about a moment and your AuthorTube, BookTube career journey, whatever, that's been particularly challenging. And I was reminded of the other day when I was talking to like a fellow AuthorTuber and I was trying to give them advice. It was more like being there and understanding the situation because they already knew the advice. Things like, don't respond to this comment, will this be productive, blah, blah, blah. But I had this string of comments once, and I guess I thought that I was over it. I thought I was fully past feeling like I needed to defend myself in any way. But there was this series of comments where basically like I could tell the first one, clearly they'd misinterpreted what I was trying to say and hadn't really, like, I think there was some assumptions in what they were bringing that I hadn't put out there. But ultimately I kind of knew that at least their comment came from a place of caring. It was the comments underneath it. There was like this back and forth where I was just like, holy crap, like, do you not think I can't see this? It felt like the misinterpretation of the first comment just let loose this free-for-all to rag on me, as if I wouldn't be able to see the comments, as if I'm not the only one doing this, so of course I would be the one to see it kind of thing. And I just so badly wanted to make a video being like, you're wrong, here's why. Like, no. Yeah. And so I went and I actually like typed up a response that I was gonna give, but much like a letter you never send, I realized that I was never going to make this video because what was the point? In the grand scheme of things, who cares if I was misinterpreted when actually so many people understood exactly what I was getting at or had felt that same thing themselves but just hadn't put it into words yet. I was more mad not at the comments I was reading but at myself for being upset with them, because of course it's one of those things where you're focusing on like the 1%, less than the 1%, when there's 99% of other people being like, I've felt that before too. Thank you for saying something. Thank you for sharing. And so I think it was that, the fact that I thought I was so over it by now, that really hit at my confidence for a while. Because clearly I had not surpassed this milestone. I had not actually leveled up to be above this thing that could potentially hurt me, you know? And I realized that part of the reason for the string of comments was basically the openness with which I talk about things on these videos. But even when I'm not, like, interpreted incorrectly, there's, we're just outright assuming whatever. These videos are still only like 20-minute chunks of time, right? So there's all this stuff in the background and all of these ideas in my head that's changing. My life is changing. External factors, internal factors, all this stuff that I might not feel the same way about something as I put in a video 2 months ago, you know? And I can't help but thinking how some part of that is on me for having shared in such a way before, right? In a similar vein, another idea I abandoned was actually like this really in-depth Instagram Q&A. I think I passed like 20,000 subscribers and I was like, huge Q&A. But when I actually got to filming, I spent time being in like different locations and doing all this stuff and trying to make it fun. And then it wasn't until I was editing it that I was like, I am not gonna share this. So I did get inspired from some of the questions that were just like a little bit more simple, like about my writing routine or like my writing process or like answering things about money or whatever. But I realized some of the experiences when I was younger or the reasons behind why I like to write specific certain things or like my history and beliefs regarding religion or my sexuality or anything else like that. I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna answer this. I figured if it came up in a different format and I felt like sharing, I would share. But when I was doing the video, I was just like, this is wrong. This is bad. And that's not to say anyone who does videos like that are wrong or bad. Like, I'm the nosiest person in the world. So I love when people do like really in-depth Q&As. But I was just sitting there and I was like, no part of me was comfortable with it, so I decided not to do it. You know, it only took hours upon hours to realize this, but I did realize it. So I'm mostly done packing, minus shoes and the additional ponchos, because again, there's gonna be so much rain. I'm hoping that the half marathon actually won't be like stormed out or anything. I might be just running in the rain for hours. But to end all of this, I actually I kind of want to chat about future ideas. Story ideas I'm currently working on, story ideas that I've like written a little bit of notes in because I want to work on them in 2020, and then like far off story ideas that I want to dabble in some far away future, I don't know. And then of course I have all of these video concepts, both like one-off and like these long form video ideas. And it's just really funny to think about in the context of all the ones I've abandoned, which ones I'll abandon in the future and why. And I think the brilliant part of it, much like those videos that took a really long time that I had the idea for and I didn't even do anything with it until a year later or whatever, is that no idea is ever really gone. Like all of these story ideas I had in my phone, the 1 in every 20 idea that I actually used, you know, these ideas get repurposed in some way. Unless, of course, you don't write it down and then you forget, which has definitely happened to me, but in that case, might I recommend sending yourself a voice memo? But I think that is gonna be it for me. Please do comment down below. Let me know your abandoned ideas if you want to share, whether that was for stories or anything else creative that you like to do. Also let me know about times that you've repurposed your old ideas. I would love to hear that especially. And just kind of, is there a hobby you started once but then quickly flamed out on, like it just wasn't for you but you thought you might be into it so you dabbled? I don't know. I have some questions regarding that too. Anything in that general sphere, I would love to hear about it. But that is gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon at the new video. Bye! Oh, okay, I don't want an ad.